Here we go. So we are talking today about nets. And a net is basically just a two-dimensional version of a three-dimensional thing. Okay? So would you call, this is how you know this is a really old box. I have nobody in diapers anymore. But this box, would you say that's two-dimensional or three-dimensional? Three-dimensional, right? It has depth. It's got the three dimensions. This way, this way, this way. Length, width, depth. If I open this up and I lay it down on the ground, flat surface now, okay, that's two-dimensional, right? So this is the net for this box. Okay, now there's a lot of nets for this box. This is just one of them. This is one version of a net that we're going to use. So let's talk for a second about this. Look at that picture off to the right there. The box is here. If you were to take that net, okay, so that's a net for a cube. If you were to take that and fold it up, I just told you the answer to the first question. What does it make? A cube. Good job. How did you know? That's a cube, okay? So it makes this cube when we fold it all up. Much like this, okay, laid flat, when we fold it all up, now we've got what's called a rectangular prism. It's not a cube because they're not squares, but same idea, right? Okay, so now take a look at this net. I put numbers on all of these faces, we call them. The rectangles are faces. If you look at your numbers on here, if I fold this up, what's going to be across from 3? So 3 is here.
5.
It's going to be, right, if I fold it up, it's going to be my 5, this one over here. What's going to be across from your 1 if you fold it up?
6.
It's your 6, right? It's that bottom one, okay? So it's a whole lot of wrapping things up in your brain, okay? Fold things up in your brain. So take a look at this one. What letters will be on top and bottom if D is the front of your cube? So if this is my front and I fold it all up, what letters are your top and bottom? Not A and C, E and F, right? So if I fold it up, C is going to go to the side, B is going to go across from it, right? We're going to wrap around this way, but then top and bottom would be the E and the F, okay? This would be your top. This would be your bottom, okay? So E and F are your top and bottom. How about the left and right then for the same setup? If D is my front and I wrap it around, what's my left and my right side? What 2 letters?
A and C.
That's your A and C, right? So letter A and letter C will be your left and your right. How's that feel? Sometimes a little hard to visualize, right? Something that's flat and we're trying to make it three-dimensional. We're going to do more of that, okay? You're going to see more examples of that. Okay, so what is a net? I already told you this. A net is a two-dimensional, right? So a flat diagram. A net is a 2D diagram that can form to fold a 3D figure. And I'm not even sure that that link works. I thought I took it out, but you can click on it if you want. I'm not going to go there right now. So we're going to draw a net, okay? You're going to look at this picture, which would be, anyone know the name of that figure? It's not a triangle. It's a triangular prism, right? It has depth to it. That's a prism with triangular bases. The front and the back are considered your bases. We'll talk more about that in chapters ahead. But this is a triangular prism that we want to make a net for. Okay, so I'm going to show you on this one, and then I'm going to draw you a new picture and see if you can do it. Okay? So this first one, we have how many different faces? How many different shapes that we're working with?
5.
There are 5, right? There is a rectangle on the right side, a rectangle on the left side, and a rectangle on bottom. And then your other two, you have a triangle in front and you have a triangle in back, okay? So your job is to draw that out as true to scale as you can. Now, I'm not super picky on the drawing aspect because I'm terrible at drawing. You'll see geometry maybe isn't the right thing for me, but I love it so much, so I do it. I'm not an artist, so I don't expect you to be artists. I do expect that you can label it correctly, even if it doesn't necessarily look exactly right. So I would start here. I would start with the 7x4 rectangle that's on the bottom. Okay, so a 7x4 is going to look like this. Here's a 4, here's a 7. You don't need to put centimeters. I know we're talking centimeters on this, so you can just do the numbers. So 4 and 7. Now, next to that 4, to the left of the 4, is what shape? Do you see it? This edge is where I'm coming off of, right? That edge is this edge. It's a rectangle. It is a rectangle. It's this rectangle, which has dimensions of 10 by 4. Sorry, this is 4. This is 10. So I need to go 10 units this way. Okay, now I like symmetry. So I could keep going to the left if I want, but because I'm a symmetry person, I'm going to go to the right of my blue rectangle with this rectangle. Okay, so now my red rectangle, I'm going to send that off to the right side of my 4, right here. What are the dimensions of that one? 10 by 4. So this is a 10. This is still 4. So we have 3 of the 5 faces. What are our other 2 faces? Triangles. Okay. Where do we put them? On the 4x7, that's where I would put it. Yep. Do I have to put it right here? So he's saying, let's put it here. Do you think you have to put it there? You don't. It's a harder net, in my opinion, if you don't put it there, because it would look something like this instead, okay, which just isn't as symmetrical. So maybe that's a little more challenging to some. But there are lots of nets that will work for this figure. This is one of them, okay? So these would be 10, 10, and 7. And then where is my other triangle? So we'll say that's the front triangle. Where's my back triangle gonna go? On top of it, yeah. We're gonna put that up here. So again, 10, 10, and 7. That's a net. Okay, so you take a 3-dimensional something, you lay it out flat, that's a net. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. You don't have to draw this figure. I just want you to try to draw the net off to the side somewhere. But here's the figure we're going to work with. Okay, rectangular prism. So much like my box here, but I'm going to give you dimensions. So this one's going to be 5, this is 4, and this is 8. See if you can draw a net for that, just off to the side on your notes somewhere. And then maybe check with your neighbor, see what they did, because they're potentially going to have a different answer than you. And that's okay. Okay? Give it a go. If your notes aren't working, just pull up Notability. Oh, here, John. Yes, and you just make sure you live in dimensions. Where do your 8s go, your 4, your 5, where is it all going to land? How many rectangles are you going to have when you're done? There should be 6. Yeah. Question? No? Oh.
Wait, that's not a square?
No, it's not a square. They're all rectangles. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
a square is a rectangle, but yes, nothing is square here based on the dimension name. It kind of looks like a square. I didn't draw it very well to scale. Okay, check with your neighbor. Do you have similar pictures? Remember, they don't have to be the same. can be right. Like every one of, well, not every one of you. A lot of you could have different things, and all right, let's lay this out. How many of you have a net that looks more like vertical with just a couple things on the side? Okay, how many of you have a net that is rectangles more this way with one on top and bottom? Both are correct, potentially. Okay, it's whatever your brain makes the most sense of. So, however you see it best, run with it. If it didn't work, we'll let you know, but there's some freedom in that, right? I would say for this one, my first instinct is to go vertical with it just because that's where the bigger rectangles are, but that's not like the right way. It's just my way, okay? So I'm gonna start here. What are the dimensions of that rectangle on bottom? 8 by 4, right? This is 4, same as this one. This is 8. So you have an 8 by 4 rectangle, 8 by 4. Again, that is not drawn to scale. Drawing is not my forte. Use your imagination a little bit with me. Then what I would do from there is I would draw like this one in front. I would draw here, and that's an 8 by 5, okay? Then there's another 8 by 4. So I'm just gonna keep going down with that. This one's 4 and 8. And then there's another 8 by 5 on the back. I'm just gonna go up top with it. You could go above, you could go below, as long as it alternates, right? 4, 5, 4, 5 is what we're going for. Okay, then I just need my two ends. So this guy right here is a 4 by 5. You may put it on the right side on whichever end of a rectangle you want. So if I go here, right, this is 4, this is 5. If I were to do it off of the 5, so say for the left one, I went off of here. Well, now that one is going to be 4 units long, 5 units tall, but you may match them up, right? I said I like symmetry. So my first instinct on this is to put it here, where this is 4, this is 5, and that's my net. You don't have to do that, okay? How many of you did it like this, where it's kind of a big T cross thing? Okay. If you did it the other way, totally fine. It would have looked probably something more like this. And again, there's lots of options. I'm just giving you the most popular options. So if this is, I'm going to shrink it down, okay? This is not going to be to scale at all. Let's say we have, no, I lied. If you went the other way, I'm going to go, I'm going to make this 5. That's what I'm going to do. So this would be 4, and then this would be 8, and then this would be 4, and then this would be 8, okay? And then you would just have to put a 4 by 8 and a 4 by 8, or a 5 by 8 and a 5 by 8 if you did it the other way, but it would look something like that. Okay, questions on that? Nets, that's a net. Okay, talk to your neighbor about this one. Each of these, so the blue pictures, is a net for the 3-dimensional version below it, but you got to match up which one goes with which. So see if you can figure out letter A goes with number what, letter B goes with number what. Talk to someone around you. Make sure everyone's got a talking buddy, or 2 or 3, and see what those would match up with. All right. I'm going to apologize in advance. I don't know your names yet. I'm sorry. But the only way for me to learn them is to learn them, right? Speak them. So I'm just going to call people's names and you tell me. We have these 5 figures. Okay. Number 1, Tiffany. Number 1 goes with E, correct. Okay. Number 2, Noah. What does number 2 go with? Number 2 goes with B, correct. Okay. Hannah. What does number 3 go with? 3 goes with A. Notice, square base, right? Square base. There's another one that's similar. That is the correct one. Emily, what'd you get for number 4? 4 goes with C. Notice there are 4 triangles, right? 4 triangles. And then number 5, Isaac?
D.
5 is D. You get the gimme at the end, right? So notice 3 rectangles that wrap around, right? 3 rectangles, 1, 2, 3, with triangles on either end. Okay? Who loves geometry already?
Yes.
I mean, I do.